If you think it's your curves that make him stay, you're playing the wrong game, my friends. The body gets his attention, but the energy, that's what holds his soul. Let's get something clear right now. If you really want to impress him, and you think it's about your hips or the size of your melons, you've been lied to, sold a cheap version of your own power. Because what he looks at first and what he feels the deepest are not the same thing. Don't get it twisted. He may glance at your shape, he may notice what's obvious, but what hooks his attention, what keeps him coming back even when he's alone with his thoughts, isn't what's bouncing, it's what's resonating. And that, my friends, is where most women miss the mark. Because somewhere along the way, you were taught to decorate your surface, but never trained to activate your presence. You mastered the pose, but forgot the poise. You upgraded the wardrobe, but neglected the energy. But here, right here, we're going deeper. So if you're tired of the filters, the faking, the 5-second tricks that never really work, you're in the right place. This video, this ain't recycled advice from a blog post in 2012. I'm putting soul into this. Energy, truth, and if it lands, if something stirs in your chest even once, press that like button. Subscribe, not for me, but for you, because you're about to step into a deeper understanding of attraction that will elevate how you carry yourself for life. Hey ladies, imagine this. You're not even trying. Just walking into a room, calm, grounded, at ease, and still his energy shifts, his chest tightens, his thoughts slow. He doesn't know what just happened, but something in him recognizes you. Not in the body, but in the feeling, like passing by a candle you didn't know was lit, and still feeling the warmth brush your skin. That's what you do when you're in alignment, when every part of you is moving in quiet confidence. And that's the secret. It's not about being loud. It's not about being perfect. It's about being in tune. Carl Jung once said, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. And that's what today is about. Accepting your power, embodying it, using every part of your body, not to perform, but to signal. To speak a language he doesn't even know he understands, but one he feels in his bones. Because yes, there are 5 body parts men look at first, but what he's really scanning for is alignment, is energy, is truth in your posture, tone in your voice, and calm in your gaze. So stay with me, because we're about to break down the real secrets, not to help you pretend, but to help you remember what you already are. Say it with me in the comments. Presence over performance. Write it. Feel it, embody it. That's your new power, that's your new standard. And now hit that like button, subscribe to The Shift, and let's get into the truth behind what men see first, and what actually leaves a mark. Let's go. Number 1, the eyes, his mirror, his test, his invitation. If you want to awaken a man's loyalty, don't just show him your body, let him feel your eyes. That's where a man meets the woman he can't replace. Let's tell the truth, my friends, because somewhere along the way, even smart, grounded women like you were told a lie. They told you that to keep his attention, you had to flash more skin, arch your back, be more seductive. They said if you want to keep his focus, you better show him something worth staring at. But here's what no one told you. A man may glance at your body, but his soul is scanning for something deeper. Not your waist, not your hips, not your curves in that new dress. He might enjoy all of that, but it's not what makes him think, damn, she's the one. The first thing he really looks at, the part of you that can shift the entire frequency of the relationship, is your eyes. And I'm not talking about lashes or liner. I'm talking about the energy behind them. Because the way you look at a man, that's not just eye contact. That's a conversation between your inner world and his. Imagine this. You're sitting across from the man you love. Maybe it's early. Maybe you've been together a while. He's talking, laughing, thinking he's just sharing a moment. But when you lock eyes with him with calm, with knowing, with presence, you say something without speaking. Something like, I see you, I respect you, but I won't let you forget what kind of woman you have in front of you. That gaze, that's not seduction, that's spiritual alignment, and that's not look at me, and that's feel me. Carl Jung once said, the soul does not dwell in the body, it dwells in the gaze. And when a woman learns how to use her eyes with intention, not performance, something ancient awakens in a man. Something protective, something present, something devoted. You ever notice how when a woman softens her eyes without shrinking, just softens, settles, meets her man's gaze with a little mystery, a little fire, a little serenity. His whole posture changes. That's not magic. That's masculine energy responding to feminine presence. Now, I know you might be wondering, what if he doesn't even notice? What if it feels awkward? What if I give him that look and he's distracted by something else? Let me tell you something straight. This isn't about being seen in the moment. This is about leaving an imprint that lingers long after the conversation is over. Because the woman who sees her man and still holds her own power, she becomes the anchor in his storm, the peace in his chaos. She becomes the one he thinks about when he's driving, working, or laying awake at night, wondering why she suddenly feels different. Your eyes don't have to be loud. They don't have to beg. They just have to be aligned. Because when your gaze matches your energy, when your body is still but your eyes speak volumes, that's when he realizes he's not just with a woman, he's with a force. So don't just look at him, look into him. And more importantly, look from a place in yourself that already knows you are enough. Because that's what draws him in, not performance, not pressure, presence. Say it with me in the comments right now, presence is power. Let that be your reminder this week, this month, in every moment you're with him. Write it, feel it, live it. Number 2, the lips, not just sensual, spiritual. The lips of a wise woman are never wasted on noise. They carry messages meant to echo inside a man's mind long after the words are gone. Now let's get into something real, my friends, because when most people talk about lips, they go straight to the surface. Fullness, color, makeup tricks. But a high-value man, he's not memorizing your lipstick, he's memorizing your tone. He doesn't just hear your words, he feels them. He listens for the rhythm in your voice, the emotion in your silence, the intention behind your laughter. Your lips, they're not just sensual, they're spiritual instruments. They can heal, they can inspire, they can plant a seed that blossoms in his heart days after the conversation ends. And let's be honest, you already know this. You felt the difference between when you speak to fill space and when you speak to deliver impact. A woman who knows her worth lets her voice breathe. She doesn't rush her words. She doesn't dump paragraphs into a void hoping to be understood. She chooses silence as often as she chooses sound because she knows both are powerful. Carl Jung said, words are animals alive with a soul of their own. And your lips? That's the gate. They decide what enters the world. And a man in a real relationship, one who's emotionally present, building something with you, he's not just paying attention to what you say, he's tracking how you make him feel when you say it. Do your lips calm him or challenge him? Do they invite him in or push him away with unconscious jabs, sarcasm, insecurity? Do they encourage or control? Because here's the truth, a man doesn't crave a woman who speaks just to be heard. He craves a woman whose presence in conversation is intentional. The kind who says, you don't get every word from me, you earn the next one by how you show up. That's how you flip the dynamic, and that's how you pull him in deeper. Not by being loud, not by being clever, but by being present with your voice, measured, soft when needed, strong when required, and calm enough to let the silence speak too. So ask yourself, when you speak to your man, are you performing? Or are you communicating from power? Drop this in the comments right now. My voice holds value. Say it, write it, carry it. Number 3, the hair energy that trails after you've left. A woman's hair doesn't just follow her, it testifies for her long after she's gone. Let's get something straight, my friends. Your hair is not just a style. It's not just something you tame before a date or fix in the mirror before walking out. Your hair is spiritual fabric, a thread of energy that moves, breathes, and speaks on your behalf. When a man watches you walk into a room, it's not just the sway of your hips or the sound of your heels that holds his attention. It's how your hair moves with you, how it frames your softness without apology, how it whispers confidence without you having to say a single word. See, it's not about volume, it's not about curls or sleekness or trends. It's about intention. Because when a woman cares for her hair, not out of insecurity, but out of reverence for her feminine energy, it shows. Carl Jung said, the unconscious is not a chaotic jumble, but a well-ordered system that communicates through symbols. And for centuries across cultures and myths, a woman's hair has symbolized vitality, freedom, femininity, and even spiritual strength. Think about it, the goddess, the warrior, the lover, the muse. They all had a crown that moved like it had its own spirit. Now ask yourself, how do you carry yours? Is it tucked away out of fear of being too much? Or is it flowing freely because you know your energy isn't meant to be contained? A man may not always understand it consciously, but when you walk away and he still sees the sway of your hair in his mind, that's not vanity, that's imprint, because your hair isn't just aesthetic, it's etheric. It's not about drawing attention, it's about leaving a signature, like the trail of a melody after the music stops, like the scent of wild jasmine after the wind has passed. And when you're in a relationship, when you're building something deeper with a man, he remembers more than your words. He remembers the way your presence moved. He remembers how your hair framed the moment you looked at him like you already knew you were unforgettable. So don't just do your hair. Honor it, embody it, let it move with your message. Drop this in the comments. My crown holds power. Say it, feel it. Carry it like a woman who knows her presence is not optional. It's unforgettable. Number 4, the waist and hips, the language of leadership and life. Your hips don't beg for attention, they command it, not because of size, but because of how you carry the weight of your presence. Let's clear something up, my friends. I know I said earlier that a man's desire doesn't start with your hips, and that's true. But don't confuse that with thinking he doesn't notice. Because, oh, he notices, but not the way you've been taught. This isn't about being a size 0. This isn't about trying to squeeze into someone else's idea of beauty. It's about owning your shape like it means something, because it does. Your waist and hips are not just physical curves, they're energetic language. They speak before you do. And when a woman walks into a room with her spine aligned, her stride calm, her posture rooted, not apologizing for her shape, but celebrating her existence, that's when a man feels something shift inside him. Because it's not the shape that stops him, it's the message behind it. You see, his biology might pick up on symmetry, on ratios, on proportion, but his soul is paying attention to something else entirely. It's asking, does she carry herself like she was built for this moment? Does she move like someone who's been through fire and came out glowing? Carl Jung once said, who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. And when a woman carries her hips with intention, with self-awareness, with grounded sensuality, she doesn't just awaken herself, she awakens him. Now I know what some of you might be thinking. But my body isn't perfect. But I've had kids. But I don't look like those girls online. Let me tell you something straight from the soul. Perfection never made a man fall in love. But presence? That's unforgettable. The way you walk across a room steady and unbothered. The way your hips sway, not for attention, but because you were never meant to walk rigid like a machine. The way your frame says, I'm not shrinking to be chosen, I'm expanding because I already am. Your waist and hips, they are the bridge between your feminine power and your physical presence. They speak of birth, of creation, of rooted confidence. And even if you never say a word, your walk can say, I know who I am. I'm not here to chase. I'm here to be felt. Let me give you a metaphor. A woman who walks with disconnection in her body, it's like a song with no rhythm. But a woman who's in tune with her hips, her posture, her pace, she becomes music, not noise, not performance. Music that moves something in him he didn't even know was locked up. And when you're in a relationship, when you're past the first impressions and deep into real connection, this becomes even more important. Because your partner doesn't just want to see you. He wants to feel that spark still alive in you. He wants to see you walk by and remember why he fell. And if you're just meeting someone new, you better believe he's already feeling whether your body language says, I'm here for approval, or I walk like I've already been claimed by myself. Drop this in the comments. I lead with presence. Say it, write it, own it. Because your hips aren't here to shrink. They're here to move energy. They're here to speak life. They're here to carry the rhythm of your power. Number 5, the skin, a canvas of calm or chaos. The skin doesn't lie. It whispers what your soul's been carrying all along. Let's talk about something real, my friends. When you think about skin, you might think about tone, texture, pigmentation. You look in the mirror and count the tiny things you think he'll notice. A blemish here. A little discoloration there, maybe a wrinkle that wasn't there last year. But here's the truth, he doesn't see your skin the way you do. He's not zooming in like a microscope. He's not ranking your features like some algorithm. He feels your skin through the glow, through the stillness, through the energy that radiates from underneath. Because your skin, it's not decoration, it's declaration. And it tells a story before your mouth ever opens. And a man, especially one who's emotionally connected to you or beginning to be, will feel whether that story is full of pressure or peace. Carl Jung said, "What you resist not only persists, but will grow in size." When you carry stress, anxiety, or internal rejection in your soul, your skin becomes the canvas, not to punish you, but to signal you, to say, hey, something's not aligned here. And when you are grounded, when you're sleeping deeply, breathing slowly, nourishing your soul instead of just your schedule, your skin doesn't just glow, it calms the room. Not because you're perfect, but because you're present. Imagine this. You're lying next to your man after a long day. No makeup, no filter, no pose. And still, he turns towards you and just stares. Not because you look like a model, but because your face carries rest, because your skin feels like home. And if you're just getting to know a man, he might not be able to articulate it, but something in him will say, she feels safe, or something's off. Your skin, without a word, tells him whether your world is calm or chaotic. It reveals your inner state. Are you connected to yourself, or are you performing to be liked? Now, this isn't about achieving flawlessness. This is about alignment, about treating your body like the sacred space it is, drinking water like it's self-respect, sleeping like it's a boundary, resting your nervous system like it's a love language. Because when a woman is whole, her skin doesn't need to scream. It just glows quietly, consistently. And that glow, that softness, that openness, and it pulls him closer. And it says, you don't need to fix me. I'm already here, rooted, ready. That's the kind of skin a man remembers, not the skin he saw under perfect lighting, but the one he touched when the world felt heavy and you made it light. Drop this in the comments. My glow is sacred. Say it with your whole chest, because from this moment forward, you don't chase radiance, you become it. Number 6, your walk, the unofficial sixth sense. The way you walk speaks before you do, and a real man listens to the rhythm of your self-respect. Let's talk about something no one teaches you, but every man notices. Not your perfume, not your heels, your walk. Before he ever hears your voice, before he knows your story, your smile, your favorite anything, he watches how you move through space. Now, don't get it twisted. This isn't about walking like you're on a runway. It's not about swinging your hips in slow motion, hoping he's looking. Because the woman who knows she's attractive doesn't perform like that. She doesn't walk to impress, she walks in her frequency. Is your pace nervous and quick, like you're trying to shrink and disappear? Are you rushing like you don't deserve to take up time or space? Or are you present, calm, unbothered, like a woman who walks through life already claimed by herself? Your walk is the unofficial sixth sense, my friends. It's the announcement of your energy before a single word leaves your lips, and it says, I've arrived. Not with arrogance, but with certainty. Carl Jung said, your perception will become clear only when you can look into your soul. Well, guess what? A woman's walk is a reflection of how clearly she sees herself. Because when a woman is grounded, centered, and tuned into her worth, she walks like she's not asking for permission to exist. She walks like her presence is a gift, and she's letting the world receive it. Picture this. You're walking into the room where your man is, not to get his attention, but to simply be. And yet, he looks up. Something in the pace of your stride, the way your shoulders rest, the way your body flows like it's not trying to win, it shifts something in him. Because he's not just watching your legs, he's feeling your energy signature. And that's the moment it clicks. This woman moves like she knows her value. That's magnetic. That's the woman he doesn't just want to look at. That's the woman he wants to walk beside. And if you're just entering a relationship, even better. Because before the deep talks, the vulnerability, the laughs, he's watching how you show up in your body. And your walk? That tells him whether he's dealing with a woman who's grounded or one still trying to be chosen. So no, don't worry about swinging your hips like you saw in some video. Worry about whether your walk matches your worth. Are you rushing to be accepted or flowing like you already belong? Drop this in the comments. I move with power. Say it, believe it. Because when your steps carry peace, alignment, and self-trust, that's when a man starts chasing your rhythm, not just your body. Number 7, your voice, the underrated body part no one talks about. A woman's voice, when aligned with her soul, can stop a man mid-thought and echo inside him for days. Let's talk about one of the most overlooked body parts you possess, my friends. Not your waist, not your lips, not your walk, your voice. Yes, your voice is a body part. And when it's used with intention, it's more powerful than any outfit, curve, or camera angle. But too often, women use it the way they were trained to fill silence, to over-explain, to shrink, smooth over, avoid conflict, or people please. But your voice is not meant to be a shield, it's meant to be a signature. It teaches the people around you, including your man, how to treat you. Now I want you to think back, really think. Have you ever heard someone speak so slowly, so calmly, so certainly that you leaned in without realizing it? Have you ever felt a shift when someone paused mid-sentence and you waited for their next word like it held the key to something sacred? That's the power your voice holds. When you stop using it to perform and start using it to command presence. Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Well, your voice, it's one of the fastest ways to make the unconscious conscious for him and for you. When you speak too fast, you signal fear. When your tone is sharp, you trigger defense. When your volume shrinks, you disappear. But when you speak with rhythm, breath, and grounded energy, you haunt him. Your voice becomes the echo that lives in his memory, not because you raised it, but because you rooted it in something real. Think of it like music. You don't fall in love with noise, you fall in love with melody, and your voice, when used with control, timing, and emotional depth, becomes music to his nervous system. Whether you've been with your man for years or you just started dating, he's learning your tone. Every sentence, every pause, every good morning, and what's wrong is training him to respect or to dismiss, to lean in or to tune out. So ask yourself this, does your voice sound like a woman who knows she's valuable? Or does it sound like someone who's still trying to prove it? Because the most unforgettable woman isn't the loudest in the room. She's the one whose energy lingers behind every word, even when she says nothing at all. Drop this in the comments. My voice is my power. Say it out loud. Say it slow. Say it like you believe it. Number 8, the most attractive feature, alignment. True beauty isn't a single note. It's the entire orchestra playing in perfect time. You can have the eyes that mesmerize, the lips that invite, the hair that lingers, the hips that command, the skin that glows, and the voice that echoes. But if each part is playing its own song, the music falls apart. Alignment is the invisible conductor that pulls every instrument of your presence into harmony. It's the moment when your posture, your pace, your tone, and even the tilt of your chin all carry the same quiet declaration. I don't need to be chosen. I am the choice. A man may notice your features individually, but what arrests his spirit is the congruence behind them, the undeniable feeling that nothing about you is contradicting itself. Think of yourself as a lighthouse on a cliff. The tower, the lamp, the glass, the beam, they each have a job, but only when they align do ships miles away feel that pulse of safety and guidance. In the same way, when your thoughts, emotions, and body language are synced, you broadcast a steady light a man can navigate by. He can sense your certainty before you ever tell him your story. That certainty whispers to his primal mind, relax, she knows who she is. And that relief, the freedom from guessing what's real, creates the very devotion most women chase but rarely achieve. Carl Jung spoke of individuation, the process of integrating every part of the self into one coherent whole. In relationships, individuated women are magnetic because they aren't pulled apart by insecurity. Their complements match their boundaries. Their softness matches their standards. Their desire matches their dignity. A man doesn't just see her alignment, he feels it like a drum in his chest. That's why he keeps coming back. Not to solve her mystery, but to stand inside her clarity. So ask yourself, do your eyes betray confidence while your words leak doubt? Do your hips sway freedom while your posture slumps apology? Alignment demands an audit. When you speak, when you walk, when you rest, does every part of you testify to the same unwavering truth? Drop it in the comments, aligned and unstoppable. Write it, Claim it, let it anchor every cell in your body. Smash that like button if your spirit just sat up straighter. Subscribe for more ways to refine the orchestra of your presence, because this journey isn't about adding endless new pieces. It's about tuning what you already have until the whole room vibrates with your certainty. Stay with me, my friends. Your next level of alignment starts now.